Have you ever stared at two choices until both of them went cold? The coffee cools. The screen times out. Friends are waiting for your answer and your mind is a snowstorm of maybes. You run through every possible outcome, again, then again, and somehow, the longer you think, the smaller you feel. It's like your life is a hallway with 1,000 doors, and your hand freezes on every knob. If that's you lately, breathe. You aren't broken. Something inside is trying to be heard. Now, only after we feel this honestly, let's bring in Carl Jung. Jung would say, your indecision isn't simple laziness or fear. It's the self sending a message. The choice isn't just about what's out there, it's about what's in here. The paralysis is a signal that the decision touches a living fault line inside the psyche, between your persona, the mask you wear for the world, and your shadow, the parts you hide, deny, or never learn to trust. Here's the strange part. We think we're choosing between A and B, job or job, city or city, say yes or say no. But Jung would ask, which figure inside you is arguing for A? And which forgotten figure is pleading for B? The persona often prefers the safe, acceptable, applause-winning option. The shadow often wants what scares your image. Rest, risk, honesty, a change you can't justify on paper. When these two clash, your mind stalls like an engine flooded with fuel. So what do you do when the argument inside is louder than the question outside? Try this. Sit down, literally, in two different chairs. In one, speak as your persona, the you who wants to look competent, sensible, admired. In the other, speak as your shadow, the you who craves what is messy, inconvenient, but alive. Don't be polite, let each side interrupt, repeat until the words get honest, until you stop performing and start revealing. You're not deciding yet. You're listening. You'll notice when the air in the room changes, when one sentence arrives with a surprising relief or a surprising heat. That temperature is a map. Sometimes indecision has a different route. Jung taught that each of us has an inferior function, the part of our psychological type we least trust. If you are a thinker, your feeling function might be weak and suspicious. If you are a feeler, your thinking function may feel cold and unkind. Senses get lost in abstract possibilities, intuitives skip over facts and get burned. When a decision requires your inferior function to lead, you stall. You don't lack courage. You lack fluency in the language this decision demands. Imagine a lifelong thinker trying to pick a partner based on spreadsheets of compatibility. The data looks clean, but the body says no. Or imagine a deep feeler trying to choose an investment only by gut warmth. It's all glow, no ground. Watch what happens if each one invites their inferior function into the room respectfully. The thinker pauses and asks, what do I actually feel when I picture my life with them in the quiet of a Wednesday? The feeler asks, what do the numbers say? Really? Even if they cool my fantasy? When the inferior function speaks, it will sound clumsy at first. That's okay. It's like a child tugging your sleeve with a crucial message. Give it time to finish the sentence. A practical way to train this: make micro choices every day in the language you avoid. If you always think, allow yourself one small feeling-based decision daily. Choose the restaurant that feels warm, not just the one with the best rating. If you always feel, make a small decision with a simple rule. Choose the cheaper option or the one with fewer steps, even if your heart flutters elsewhere. You are building a bridge so your major decisions don't have to carry all the weight of your development at once. There's another force beneath indecision that Jung named the complex. A complex is a knot of memory, emotion, and meaning that lives in your psychic underground. If you learned that mistakes bring humiliation, your mistake complex will electrify every choice. If love always meant duty in your childhood home, your love complex will color every relationship decision with guilt. Complexes aren't bad, they're alive like little autonomous souls in the psyche, But when they take the wheel, clarity disappears. How do you notice a complex rising? Watch for disproportion. A small choice feels fatal. Your body goes cold, hands damp. Your internal narrator speaks in absolutes. Always, never, ruin, forever. Complexes talk in thunder. When you hear that voice, pause. Don't argue with it. Ask it to speak as if it were a person sitting across from you. What do you fear will happen if I choose? When did you first learn that choosing was dangerous? Write what comes. Even if it sounds dramatic, even if it feels childish. Complexes shrink under warm attention. They grow under shame. Here's a ritual that helps. Give the complex a shape. Draw it. Name it. Maybe your mistake complex is a tight black knot with needles. Maybe your abandonment complex is a small child with oversized luggage. When you see it, you can say, I won't let you drive, but you can sit in the passenger seat and tell me what the road looks like. That sentence alone can loosen the freeze. Sometimes indecision hides a hunger for permission. We're not choosing because we are waiting for a parent, a teacher, a tribe, an invisible judge to nod. Jung would say a figure from the collective unconscious has seized you, the wise old man or woman, the stern father, the devouring mother, the trickster who mocks every choice. These archetypes aren't fantasies, they're patterns that move us. If an inner judge is holding you hostage, you will keep shopping for perfect certainty, like a litigant collecting more evidence for a trial that never ends. What breaks that spell? Create an inner council on purpose. Close your eyes. Invite three figures. The exact judge you fear, the friend who believes in you without condition, and the future version of you who has already lived with both choices. Ask each one 2 questions. What am I trying to protect by not choosing? What will I regret if I wait 6 more months? Listen for differences in tone. The judge will likely warn. The friend will likely soften. The future you will likely simplify. Decisions don't need all voices. They need the right one to speak at the right time. There's also the trickster, Jung's favorite mischief maker, who can trap you in endless options that all taste like cotton candy. 15 tabs open, 20 reviews read, and somehow you know less than when you started. The trickster loves the game of almost. The antidote is to change the game entirely. Instead of asking, which is best in the universe? Ask, which is good enough to move my story 1 chapter forward? The trickster hates momentum. Give yourself 3 candidates and a 15-minute ritual. Light a candle. Read the list aloud. Circle the one your hand moves toward, not the one your mind keeps defending. Sign your name next to it. Extinguish the candle. That's it. Bring the sacred into the simple. You might be wondering, what about the body? Jung believed the psyche speaks through the body's images and symptoms. Some choices look perfect on paper and feel like walking into a refrigerator. Others look risky and feel like walking into a warm kitchen where someone has been expecting you. Try a somatic yes, no, stand up, picture choice A. Breathe into your belly and say, out loud, I choose A. Notice micro-sensations, a loosening in the chest, a heaviness behind the eyes, a heat in the hands, a sway forward or back. Now picture choice B. Say, I choose B. Some bodies lean forward on the truth, others soften. You don't need a mystical sign, just the willingness to believe your subtle responses matter. You may not trust your body yet. That's okay. Start with non-dangerous choices. Tea or coffee. Read or walk. When your body says tea and the world doesn't end, trust rebuilds. Over time, you will notice your body had been speaking for years. You were simply translating everything back into the language of fear. Let's talk about dreams, because Jung always did. When your day mind can't decide, your night mind will stage a small play about it. Give the dream a question at bedtime. Show me what I'm missing about this choice. Keep pen and paper by the bed. The dream won't hand you a spreadsheet. It will offer a symbol. You might see a house with 2 doors, one rusted but warm, one golden but ice cold. You might see yourself carrying a croissant and a compass. It sounds absurd until you sit with it. The warm, rusted door might be the less glamorous option that nurtures you. The golden, cold door might be prestige without pulse. The croissant could be comfort. The compass, direction. You already know how to read your symbols if you stop asking them to be literal and let them be living. Now, the fear behind most indecision is this: what if I choose and close off the life I was meant for? Jung would answer with a gentler view of fate. He believed in the self, an inner organizing center that is forever drawing us toward wholeness. There isn't only one right path. There is the next honest step. And if you choose poorly, the psyche is self-correcting. It will send you teachers in the shape of consequences. It will redirect, slowly, like a river finding the sea. The only unforgivable sin in a Jungian world is refusing to live. Here's a practice for when fear of regret freezes you. Make a safe loss. Choose one small thing you will deliberately let die so a larger thing can live. Maybe you cancel a course you never wanted and accept the humble refund of time. Maybe you donate the unused gear from a hobby you abandoned and free the shelf for what calls you now. The psyche needs funerals. Without them, every choice feels like a crime scene. With them, choices feel like seasons. We need to talk about timelines too. Some decisions are urgent because they are false emergencies constructed by the market, the crowd, or your anxious mind. Others are urgent because your life force is suffocating. How to tell? Ask, if I postpone this for a week, do I feel relief? Or do I feel my soul go dull? Relief means the choice needs marination. Dullness means the choice is actually oxygen. Choose the oxygen. Halfway through, let me ask you something important. What is the one decision you've been circling for months that quietly drains your mornings? Drop it in the comments. You'll be surprised how many people share your exact maze. And if this helped you hear yourself a little more clearly, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next chapter of this inner work. Back to the road. Another Jungian key: projection. When we can't choose, we often project our power onto or into someone else. We wait for a sign from a lover, a boss, a guru. We forget that a decision is not a verdict. It's a conversation with reality. If you pick a path and it doesn't love you back, you will know. That knowledge is worth 100 theoretical pros and cons lists. Jung would say, stop trying to be omniscient. Be related, choose, then watch how the world responds, then adjust. This is not indecision. This is dancing with the self. If you're someone who toggles between extremes, impulsive today, paralyzed tomorrow, watch for the pendulum of the trickster. One day you are the gambler, the next you are the monk. Both are masks. The middle path here is ritualized choice. Decide in a container. Same time each week, same table, same notebook, same candle. Ask 3 questions only. Does this serve life? Does this serve truth? Does this serve growth? If 2 say yes, move. Ritual reduces the weather inside you. It gives the child in you a predictable doorway to walk through. And what about when either option feels wrong? That's when Jung would invite a third. Not a compromise, but a symbolic third. The option that appears only after you stop arguing. Sometimes it's not this job or that job. It's a sabbatical with a part-time bridge. Sometimes it's not stay or leave. It's stay with new terms that honor your reality. The symbolic third isn't always available, but if you ask for it sincerely, it shows up more often than we think. The self likes to surprise those who bow to it with honest questions. You may wonder, how do I know when to stop seeking input? Here's a gentle rule: 3 wise perspectives, then silence. Ask 1 elder, one peer and one future-facing person who is building a life you quietly admire. After that, close the gates. More opinions won't create more truth. They will only add more noise. Your life is not a democracy where strangers vote your soul into office. If you still can't choose, try the coin trick, but Jung style. Assign each option to a side. Flip. Before it lands, notice the sudden spark of wanting. That flare isn't fate. It's feeling. You can honor it without obeying it blindly. If the coin says A and you feel the heaviness of B, that heaviness is information too. Your job is not to worship randomness. It's to use every small ceremony to reveal the truth you're carrying anyway. One last piece. After you choose, grief will visit. Even right choices create small funerals for lives you will not live. Jung would ask you to welcome that grief. Light a candle for the path not taken. Thank it. Imagine the you who lives there waving back, wishing you well. When you ritualize the goodbye, the part of you that feared regret feels respected. Then your energy returns to the life you actually have. So if you can't decide, maybe it's not a flaw. Maybe it's your life asking to be lived at a deeper level. The choice you make will not be perfect. It will be honest. And honest choices, messy, human, sometimes trembling, are the ones that turn lights on inside your house. Jung didn't promise certainty. He promised meaning to those brave enough to listen. Trust the small signals. Trust the slow yes. The rest, the river will handle.